Welcome to Google Meet, part of the MPS Google Migration Hub training series. Presented by Instructional Technology and the Department of Technology. Today, while we are learning about Google Meet, we will be successful when we can generate unique meeting links, customize my audio and video workspace, and navigate host security settings to control attendee screen sharing, chat permissions, and muting. As with everything in Google, there are multiple ways to find the different apps. First option is that you could go to your Google Waffle and find your Google Meet app there. You also could go to meet.new or meet.google.com, and that would bring you to a space where you can start a new meeting. And just a reminder, every Google Meet link includes a dial-in phone number and PIN for staff or outside guests who need to call in from their cars or remote locations. This screen that is on here is also the same screen that you would see when you go through the Waffle. Another way to find Google Meet is going to your Google Calendar. When you are in your Google Calendar, on the upper left-hand side, you have the option to create new. If you choose create new event, you would then give it a title, and you have the option to add on the Google Meet video conferencing as seen here. You also can find Google Meet within your Gmail. It is located on the left-hand side of your Gmail landing page underneath the chat icon. And you also can find it within Google Chat. So if you are in a chat with a colleague, you will see in the upper right hand of that chat that there is the Meet icon. As of right now, you are only able to do a video Meet link from chat. They are working on creating an option to only do the voice. So if you do not want your face shown, then you would just turn off your camera. All right, now we have the interface. You have created a meet or you are joining a meet, and before you join, your computer will give you a preview of you. So the first thing you want to do is to check your microphone inputs, your speaker outputs, and your camera selection. You'll also see beneath the image of me, there is a microphone and a camera. If I want to come into the Meet muted or with my camera off, I would just click on those tabs, those buttons, and then that would hide my image as well as mute my microphone. Also within this landing page, before you join the actual meet, in that red circle there, that is for visual effects, so that you are able to alter your backgrounds. So if you click on that, here are what your options are. So you can choose backgrounds, and the district has pushed out MPS backgrounds that have our logo. There are 7 different options there. If you scroll down, there's additional options, or you can just choose to blur your background. That first blur is kind of a mild blur, and the second blur makes the background very blurry, so you're unable to distinguish what is behind you. Also within the visual effects, the next tab is your appearance. So you are able to alter your appearance somewhat by using Portrait Touch-Up, or if you need to add more coloration. You also can have studio lighting. If you have a very bright background, you might want to turn that on because your appearance will be very dark if it's very bright behind you. All right, so now we are ready to join the meet. Once you get into the meet, on the bottom of the meet screen is your meet interface, your meet toolbar. Going across, we'll see in that first image that it is the microphone is currently muted, the camera is off. I could just click on those buttons and then that would unmute myself or have my camera on. The next button over is to share your screen. So I'd be able to share something from my device to everyone in the meet. We have emoji reactions, a big part, nice feature within Google Meet is the live closed captioning. So if you click on that as the host or as an attendee, you will get live closed captions. It is not going to show for everyone in the Meet, only the people that choose to click that. Next up, we have the hand. This is if you want to raise your hand and ask a question. And right next to that, we have the 3 dots for additional tools. And that is that next image there. A big feature within this would be to adjust the view, so you can change your layout as far as how the individual images of your colleagues show. You can see in my adjusted view that I typically leave it on auto dynamic, so that will just kind of rearrange. And if you are in a large meet, they will shift based on who is speaking. This is just your preference if you want it to be tiled, so you can see up to 49 people at one time. Spotlight would mean it's just the person talking. And sidebar, the person talking, and then everyone else will be in a smaller images, smaller tiles on the side. You also can toggle on the ability to hide the tiles of the people that do not have a video on. If you are the host of the Meet, meaning that you created it or a colleague created it and gave you host controls, here are some of the features that are available to you. So first up, these are all the way on the bottom right-hand side when you are in a Google Meet. That first one is the chat, and everyone will have access to that within the Meet, regardless if they are a host or not. We're going to skip the middle one for right now, and we're going to look at the one all the way to the right, which is the host controls. That is what that screenshot is right there. The host controls are very valuable because you can change them mid-meeting. You can set them up before the meeting. So you can determine if you want your participants to be able to share their screen. If you don't want that to happen, then you would toggle that off so that they cannot accidentally share their screen. Sending chat messages, so the chat is open to anyone within the Meet and they can respond and carry on a conversation, but you do have the ability to turn that off so that people stay focused, or if the chat is getting off topic, and then you could reopen it later. Another host control is the ability for participants to turn on or off their microphones and cameras, their video. You do have the ability to globally mute everyone. You do not have the ability to unmute anyone. So if someone wants to share, they have to unmute themselves. You are unable to do that. You are also able to add a co-host. To do this, you would click on the People tab within the Google Meet. You'd find that person's name, and you click on the 3 dots next to it and say grant host controls, and then they would also have all of these controls as well. This is very helpful if you have a large group so that they can help mute people, or if you have created a waiting room, meaning you're requiring people to be wait to come in, a co-host would be able to allow those people into the session and therefore not interrupting your presentation if you have already begun. We're going to head back over to that middle tab, and those are meeting tools. And these are also additional host controls. You are able to record the meeting, to refer back to, or to share out. You can also require or request transcription, so it will transcribe all the conversation that is happening. There are breakout rooms, so if you need to break your larger group into smaller groups to work on certain tasks, you are able to do that, either where you just put in the number of groups you want and it will randomly place people in a group, or you can drag and drop names, or you can also title the breakout rooms, and then people can choose their breakout room based on the title of the room. So if that's the group they need to be working with, then they could click on that one. You also have polls that you can ask your participants, and they would find them also underneath the little tool icon. It'll say a poll has been posted, and then you can see the live results. If you want to stay away from the chat, or you want a specific area just for Q&A, you can turn on the Q&A section of your Google Meet as the host, where people can put their questions in there and the answer goes directly to that question. Whereas in a chat, if you have lots of people chatting, answers may get lost because other questions are coming in while you're typing a response to the initial one. And you're also able to create or set a timer for your breakout rooms, or if you're just giving the group time to complete an activity, you can enable a timer within the Meet screen. Productivity. So something similar with Microsoft Teams, you are able to have it take notes for you. So within Google Meet, this is a Gemini note taker. It is located in the upper right-hand corner when you are in the Meet. It's like a pencil with the little Gemini symbol next to it, or they call it a sparkle icon, and you can say start taking notes. This is great for multiple reasons. One, if someone arrives late, they also have that tab there for Gemini, and they can say, what did I miss? And Gemini will give them a quick summary of what was covered in the first 15 minutes, so they're able to catch up. Another great thing about using Gemini note takers is that Gemini will compile the discussion, things that were brought up in the chat, as well as things that were shared on the screen, and it will put it into a Google Doc. That Google Doc would go straight into your Drive, but it also attaches that link to the calendar invite. So if I invited 10 people to this session, not everyone came, but everyone that was invited would have access to the Gemini notes. So you can do that when you're within the Meet by clicking on the pencil with the little sparkle, but also on that landing page for Google Meet before I joined the Meet, there's also the option there to take notes with Gemini. So those are just a couple of quick tips on how to navigate Google Meet.